It's your girl Ashley. I be ballin' with another episode of I be ballin'. This episode, we're gonna be talking about the WNBA playoffs, the WNBA finals. It's been crazy so far. I'm gonna recap, you know, a little bit about the playoffs. I'm gonna be talking about Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles, and then I'm going to talk about the WNBA Finals matchup, Aces versus the Suns. Okay, so I want to shout out the Degree of Excellence and Legit Stitch for hooking your girl up with this dope gear. Check out the logo. Hey, the girl with the booty tail and the basketball, that's me. Hey, that's awesome. And if you want an extra t-shirt, I got an extra t-shirt of this. If you want this, all you gotta do is subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Yeah, that's it. Hit the subscribe button. And maybe you will be one of the lucky ones. One of the lucky ones. I only got one so far, you know what I mean? Maybe you will be one of the lucky ones to win this awesome t-shirt, you know what I mean? You can give it away. It's free 99. You heard? All you gotta do is subscribe, you heard? To your girl Ash, yeah. So I'm gonna start off first before I talk about the WNBA playoffs. I don't know if you guys, watched the latest round, but it was the, Aces versus the Storm. Aces are in the finals. Sue Bird is out, And I just want to give her flowers. It was her last game. She meant a lot to the game. She meant a lot to, the young point guards growing up. She meant a lot, to the culture. She meant a lot to the W, growing the game, and I mean, so I want to say thank you to Sue Bird. I mean, the list goes on and on, 5 gold medals, the championships, starting the legacy of UConn, I mean, I can go on and on and on. And Sylvia Fowles, the same thing. She's won championships and MVPs and, rebounding, she's the league leader. And she wasn't far behind with blocks. And, Sue Bird is the leader of assists, But, I just want to give them their flowers. Fowles, dominant, one of the best centers, if not the best center in the game. And Sue Bird, the best point guard, if not, one of the greatest point guards that the game has ever seen, And so I just want to give a shout out to them because without them, the league wouldn't have grown to where it is now, you know what I mean? So that's what I want to say. Oh, before I saw some quotes. Right? And this is what I'm gonna do. Bird, Sylvia Fowles, they was, talking about each other. So this is what Sue Bird said. Sylvia is the only player in our league, in my opinion, from the way her teammates interact with her, the way they take her on. I know they jokingly call her Granny, and so on. She really just has a certain nature on itself, which is so warming, so inviting, so welcoming. I think the way she influences her team, the way she brings groups together, I can't even think of another player doing it like Sal, I mean, Sil. Believe me, I could sit here and talk about the points, rebounds, championships, and all that stuff, but that's, I think, the secret ingredient that she has. That's what Bird said, you know what I mean? This is what, Fowles said about Sue Bird. Sue Bird is everything this game needs. Her leadership, her sisterhood, her friendship, and just the things she does, for the community. I think every young player, every young point guard should have a good base role models to go from, and Sue Bird is definitely one of those, right? So I just wanted to give you those quotes because I think it's great, Everyone's giving them flowers, but it's great to hear what they have to say about each other too. I won't be here before you too long. You know how the preachers say that on Sunday, you know what I mean? I won't be here before you too long, you know. So, let's get into it. It's the Aces versus the Sun. And I hear a lot of people saying, the Aces are going to sweep the Connecticut Sun. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Um, I think it's tough to win a championship, but I just feel like, people aren't really giving the Connecticut Sun. They just beat Chicago Sky, my team, And yes, I'm from Milwaukee, but I follow wherever Candace is, and my favorite color is blue, And I don't think it's gonna be that easy. I don't think they're gonna have a sweep, I don't, but I do think that the Aces, it's theirs to lose. To be honest, like that's my opinion. I think when it comes to Becky Hammon versus Kurt Miller, they're both great coaches. It's just different styles. I'm going with my girl Becky. I'm not gonna say how many games yet. I'm not gonna tell you what I think. But first, I'm gonna start off with talking about the Connecticut Sun. I think in order for them to win, they they beat great opponents, right? You know what I mean? They obviously beat the Sky, and I'm still heartbreaking. Broken because I wanted the Sky versus the Aces. I wanted my Sky to try to repeat, Um, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Now the Sun, I feel like they finally are excited because this is their chance to win a championship, and they got over the Sky hurdle. I thought the Sky was going to beat them simply because they was 4-0 during the season against the Sun, so I thought the Sun was like gonna be, their mindset was gonna be like, you know, just weakened, but no. Regular season don't matter. They showed out and they beat the Sky, right? And wait a second. Let me see. Okay. So not only did they beat the Sky, but they also beat the Wings, which is a young team. They got Enrique, but Enrique wasn't playing. They are a young squad that needs to still mature. But I think in order for the Sun to win, JJ, Jonquel Jones, has to be dominant. Right now, she's only averaging like 14 points in the playoffs. I'm going to need her to average 20 points this series, or the Sun have no shot, right? And obviously, I think they're going to have to dominate the paint, right? They would kind of remind me of the Detroit Pistons, where they're physical, right? They like to, muck it up, get messy, be physical with you, right? And that's their style, right? They're a defensive championship team. Well, not championship. Defense wins championships. They're, they're not really known for scoring. It's more defense, defense, defense. And hey, they went on an 18-0 run against my Sky. So their offense is coming together. So I'm going to need Jones to be the MVP player type player she is, right? Dewana Bonner, she's going to be big because her leadership is big. She's the only one that's really won championships on the Sun. She won 2 with the Mercury. Courtney Williams, she's going to have to score the ball because you already know Chelsea Gray is going to be scoring that ball. I do like Heidemann. I like her 3-point shot. Obviously they got the 6 Player of the Year. They are going to miss Jasmine Thomas. They're going to miss her, especially for playing defense. But they also have Alyssa Thomas, who, man, imagine if her shoulders weren't hurt. You know what I mean? She can rebound. And even though she can't really shoot that thing, she's got that push shot, defensively. She's the heart and soul of that team. She's an incredible player to watch. She kind of reminds me of Russell Westbrook. But in order for them to win, it's going to be defense, point paints, and Jonquel Jones has to score at least 20 points. If she can do more often. She's shown, flashes of her brilliance, but her team's going to need more. Right? Before I go to the aces, I want to talk about Kurt Miller and his comments about one of my favorite players, Candace Parker. He made a statement, right, after beating the Sky, saying, mentioning some of his players, that they had beaten Candace Parker 3 out of 4 times. And he wanted, them to get credit. And I'm like, why do you have to talk about Candace Parker for your players to get credit? You could have complimented your own players without putting Candace Parker, name in your mouth. Now, Candace Parker said, hey, we don't hang conference, championship banners, right? It's, all or nothing, right? And so I think that was a great clap back, by CP3, Kurt Miller should have just congratulated, should have just been happy to get over the hump. Now he finally in the finals. Your job not done. So I don't know why he even did that. So that's my rant. I'm like, that wasn't necessary. And you still gonna have to see her. Like, I don't think she's gonna retire. You're still gonna have to see her, buddy. But that's just my rant. Oh, Brianna Jones is a big key as well. She is the 6th player of the year. Congrats. But now, they're gonna have to face Becky Hammon, Coach of the Year, right? Asia Wilson, what up? Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same season. Hello. Now, obviously, I wanted my Sky to be in there. They're not in there. But hey, I want the Aces to win. I really like Becky Hammon. The great thing about the Aces and the Suns is neither team has won a championship. So this is their chance. We're going to see a new winner that has never won before. So I think that's dope. Here's the thing about the Aces. They play fast. They are a scoring bunch. They got Jackie Young, who won Most Improved Player of the Year, that can get buckets. Kelsey Plum, threes, goes to the bucket, Rakana Williams, in their small ball lineups, coming off the bench, she can get hot. Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, they can get hot. Speaking of hot, Chelsea Gray, listen, she can't miss. She is on the verge of, not one of the best, but the best playoff run ever. And that's for the WNBA and the NBA. So let me show you a couple of these numbers. I'm going to show you the numbers. Okay. So this is what she's averaging. 24 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. It's not really about those numbers. It's about that she's shooting 62% from the field, right? 59% from three. And y'all know, like, she's not a post player. Like, a lot of her shots are jumpers. 88% from the line, right? Her true shooting percentage is 75%, right? And that's not even rounding. No player has ever done that. NBA, WNBA, no one. And she did become the first player in WNBA history to have a 30-point, 10-assist game. Holla! Oh, and A'ja Wilson, 30 points, 10 rebounds, back to back. That never has been done before, too. I don't know any Sun player that can guard Chelsea Gray. Chelsea Gray, it looks like she's off balance. It looks like a tough shot. She makes it anyway. All she got to do is get to her spot. We know her spot is the mid-range. It could be like, it don't matter. It still go in. It was crazy. Did you guys see her performance against the Storm? And she's clutch in the crunch, right? She just knows when her team needs a bucket, and in the fourth quarter, she gets it done. So I don't know. Now, could they get Alyssa Thomas on there? Yeah, they're gonna need to, because they do have small guards, right? This is where Jasmine Thomas is gonna be a big miss. Miss. As far as the Aces, they've relied heavily on their starters. Hope they can keep it up, because they haven't gone deep in the bench. Hammy, she's returning from an injury, so they're going to want her to get more healthy and in the flow of things, so they can play her, so they can get some rest. Because A'ja Wilson, she ain't getting a lot of rest, but she looks like in tip-top shape, like she don't need it. But I don't know how, even though the Sun, they're defensive oriented, I don't know how you can stop the Aces offensively. They have too many weapons. A'ja Wilson and Chelsea Gray, they get a lot of the scoring bunch, especially like the Sun is gonna have to limit, Asia's touches, because when she touches the ball, she's dominant, And Gray, she got the ball in her hands anyway and can just get assists, get to Plum, give it to Young, I don't know. And it's a good thing that the Sun, they're starting to, get in their groove offensively, right? Because they're gonna have to, challenge the Aces to use, their legs more on defense, right? So maybe their shots won't be falling as much, right? If you make them work on the defensive end. So my takeaway is, out of 5 games, first to 3, right? I'm going to say the Sun win 1 game. I ain't saying they gonna get swept, because I just don't believe that's gonna happen. They have too much grit, too much pride to get swept. That ain't happening, and plus it's hard to sweep a team. It is hard, especially in the finals, you know what I mean? I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Alright, so before I go, I want to say, free Brittney Griner. Bring 42 home, right? I understand it's a process, things take time, but it's past due. And obviously they're going to make a trade. Russia's going to want, one of theirs, and we want ours back, So obviously, United States has a Russian somewhere, right? And we want our United States, our Mercury, girl back so she could be with her wife, her family, her friends, her teammates, so she can have, I just, not even for basketball purposes, you know what I mean? Just for her peace of mind. Like, I wouldn't even blame her if she don't want to play basketball, for a while, just to get her mind right. Or maybe basketball will make her feel better. Like, hey, I was robbed of this, so this can make me feel better. So, I don't know. But that is what I wanted to say. I feel like the WNBA offseason is going to be big, especially because, a lot of teams have a lot of, question marks, free agents. The sky, is Candace Parker going to retire? Are they going to keep the free agents? The Storm as well. How can they replace Sue Bird? You can't. Is Stewart going to go to New York? I don't know. Speaking of New York, the New York Liberty are going to be a very exciting team. They're a young team led by Sabrina. They got it, Natasha Howard, I like that squad. That's going to be a squad to reckon with in the future, And let's see. Before I go, what should I say? Okay. I'll say this before I go. Make sure you subscribe so you can get a chance to win this. And make sure you subscribe for more WNBA, NBA content. Because your girl Ashley, I Be Ballin, brings it. You heard? Also, check out my song, Time to Rise, about Giannis and his family's life. Make sure you listen to it. It's on all music platforms, Amazon, Spotify, it's everywhere, Apple Music. Make sure you go check that out for your girl. And thank you so much for watching. Peace. I be ballin'. Yeah, peace.